Sniffing for nuclear bombs, or just hobbyists having some fun? Let's update the drone sightings over New Jersey and talk top 5 most likely theories on this episode of Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and in this update on the drones flying over the Eastern Seaboard of the United States, and well, now all over the country, let's take a look at the leading theories as to who is responsible. Before we start listing, let's real quick bring an update on the drone situation as of December 17th. First off, maybe some years ago, if the U.S. government came out and told me not to worry, then maybe I would just grab a Diet Coke, sit down on the couch and watch a movie, confident that my government would never lie to me. Well, times are different now, or more accurately, I'm different now. And this isn't a Democrat or Republican thing, it's the government. And they have been caught in a bunch of lies. And the one that concerns me the most about these drones is them telling me that the drones are no threat, and in the same breath saying, we don't know who's responsible. You can't have it both ways. And by the way, I 100% believe our military knows exactly who is flying the drones, what kind of drones, where they take off from, and where they land. 2 years ago, me and a small crew were filming a news documentary in New York City across the river from the United Nations building during the General Assembly. My cameraman pulled out his drone just to see if he'd be able to fly it, and he quickly saw he couldn't, and he powered it back down and packed it up. He never took off. Within 2 minutes, a federal police boat had pulled up to us, agents jumping over to our position, another agent in plain clothes breaking through the bushes, all to search for whoever lit up a drone. But now you're telling me they don't know anything about car-sized drones flying over the Picatinny Arsenal? Yeah, right. And by the way, my camera guy was not arrested, but it was touch and go for a bit, and a great laugh a lot later, much later. Okay, here's what we do know. Before we talk about the top 5 theories, let's recap. First, the drones have been mostly at night. They started November 18th over New Jersey, including some government-sensitive areas. State government has been critical of the federal response. The FBI has received over 5,000 tips, with fewer than 100 credible, according to them. The drones have been reported to be large, car-sized, fixed-wing. One note, the pictures floating around social media have all sorts of drones, but all of them with nice blinking lights. If someone's doing spying or stealth stuff, they wouldn't have lights. All right, so right now, our top 5 theories as to who is controlling these drones and why they're flying around. Let's start with number 5. Commercial missions like mapping or surveying. Yes, this happens every day anyway, and certainly if a commercial operator is running these drones, they're required to have anti-collision lights if operated at night. But the problem here with this theory is that the government would know, and there's no reason to keep that info secret, no reason to lie to us. Actually, it would quell a lot of the hysteria if a spokesperson came out and said, XYZ company has been doing some aerial pipeline patrol looking for leaks using thermal, thus the night operations. Then everyone would shut up and go home. But that hasn't happened. All right. So 4th most likely reason, nuclear sniffing. This theory suggests drones equipped with special sensors are trying to detect any radioactive material, possibly searching for a lost or smuggled dirty bomb or similar. And this would make sense why the government and military would claim, we don't know what these are, and also why the drones are operating with lights. And yes, this theory is out there and very scary, but has been proposed by Saxon Aerospace CEO John Ferguson and has been gaining a little bit of traction. And a New Jersey mayor, Michael Mellom, has come out suggesting that the drone sightings might be linked to missing radioactive material. He says that according to a Nuclear Regulatory Commission alert, radioactive material went missing December 3rd in transit through New Jersey. Certainly worth investigating, especially if there's any chance any of this is true. All right, 3rd leading theory. Hobbyists having some night fun. While certainly a whole lot of the reporting sightings are probably this, I'd want an explanation for the large size, the fixed-wing drones that are being reported. That's not hobbyists, but I have no doubt that many of the phone calls are coming from overly concerned citizens who spot the neighbor's toy zooming across the sky. And if it's hobbyists, then what do you know? The government was actually being truthful when they said it was nothing to be worried about. They were just lying about not knowing what it was. Okay, now the second most likely explanation. A foreign actor is spying or testing us. And while the congressman claiming the Iranian mothership for all the drones is just off the coast has been disproven, the Iranians in fact do have a drone mothership and it's parked in the Persian Gulf right now. It's also a fact that the Chinese floated a spy balloon over the whole country and our government waited until it was done spying before shooting it down. With tensions around the globe at an all-time high, it's perfectly logical in light of the lack of decisive action on the spy balloon that foreign actors might continue to try to test the U.S. responses. The problem with this theory is that the foreign actors would be stupid to have lights on their spy craft. Or would it? It's not like our government is doing anything about them. Okay, that was number 2. Before I do my top number 1 reason, I did reach out to our drone expert, Jonathan Smith from Steel Shot Aerials, to see if he had any theories. Jonathan?
Well, Dan, one of the only things that I would add to this would be AI-generated video and social media play a huge role in the confusion and hysteria going on. I know news stations are circulating things that aren't necessarily proven to be fact, and that is just adding to everyone's confusion. Also, people generally don't look above their eye line very often, especially at night. So I think you have a lot of people that are watching the news and then going outside their front door, looking up at the sky, seeing nav lights and going, hey, I saw that on the news, that's a drone. When in reality, it's just another plane. So I think that plays a huge factor as well. And I'm very eager for any kind of answers that come out of this.
Thanks, Jonathan. I will give an honorable, well, maybe not so honorable, mention to another theory I didn't include in my top 5, something called Project Bluebeam. This posits that the drone sightings could be part of a psychological operation to simulate alien invasion or other phenomena to manipulate public behavior or opinion. I mean, why not? Okay, my number 1 theory for what's behind all the drone sightings. Any guesses on number 1? I'm going with the U.S. government, or U.S. military specifically, is testing new surveillance technology that they don't want our adversaries to know about. And to explain why they have had the lights on, I think if they're flying in the U.S. airspace, the FAA would still require anti-collision lights, or they would keep the flights in restricted airspace, which they're probably doing that as well. But that would explain why the government is claiming ignorance, but yet also claiming that they're not a threat. The former is a lie, the latter might be the truth. Then add to that all the mistaken small airplanes and helicopters and hobbyist drones, and you get the general hysteria that you see every news source reporting. And that's my top 5. What's your theory on the drones? Let me know in the comments below. And speaking of bright lights at night, I want to mention that we are sponsored by Z-Vision, the brightest landing and taxi lights for your plane. If you put one of these on a drone, you definitely see it for miles. Z-Vision, xevision.com. Thank you for watching, and check out our video on drones with Jonathan that are being used in Ukraine. Remember, superior judgment trumps superior skill.